Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today you are going to need a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture that you can brace into every now and then. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to begin today's practice coming into a cross-legged seat, right leg in front of the left, and we're going to brace our back into the wall. Try to have your back and your shoulder line as flush against your prop as you can. If you've got a high ponytail, just secure it nice and high so that your pony isn't pressing your head forward. We're going to find a cactus frame through the arms, starting with the arms, or rather the elbows, at about shoulder height. We're going to press with the back of our arms into the wall, and then we're going to squeeze the two forearms and the palms together in front of our face, and we're going to rinse and repeat for 10 slow rounds, looking for the press against the wall and then the squeeze of the two arms together so that you can feel those pecs every time you squeeze. Try to keep softly braced into your wall. Let's shoot for 5 more. We're going to end in that cactus frame, and then you're going to softly drop your elbows towards your waistline so your arms look like they're making a W frame. And then you're going to think V frame above your original start position. So you're going to W, V, W, V. Keep your back line softly braced against the wall. Keep your abs engaged. Two more to go. We're going to find our way back into our original cactus frame, and then you're going to think scarecrow, dropping the arms. Maybe you'll stop halfway, maybe your hands come closer to the wall. You're going to work within your range of motion. Starting your movement by pressing the back of your palms into the wall and then dropping the hands away from the wall as far as they will go. Keep your gentle back brace into the wall. Keep those abs engaged. Then open up your arms into a T frame. Brace with the back of your arms into the wall, and then squeeze the two palms together in front. Shoot for roughly 10 repeats. Bracing into the wall and then squeezing or pressing the two palms together. Last one. You're going to end back in your T frame, and you're going to drop the arms so your fingertips graze the floor, and then angel wing them back up. So you're going to move your arms in big sweeping wing-like motions, 10 times tapping to the floor and then raising them overhead. Keep your back line gently braced into the wall. Last one. We're going to end with our fingertips relaxed to the mat, and you're going to rearrange your feet so that you are in a butterfly-like frame, bringing the soles of your feet together. You're going to use that brace into the wall, and you're going to press down with your palms on the inside of your knees, just looking for a gentle stretch into the inner thighs. Then relax the press, keep the brace into the wall, ground your feet, and think of wanting to squeeze the knees together with your hands, but resisting with the knees. Back to your butterfly press. Keep that brace into the wall, keep your core engaged. Then ground your feet, squeeze the knees in and resist. Back to butterfly press. Knee squeeze. Let's do that one last time. Then extend the legs out on the mat in front of you. We're going to work a modified spine stretch. So you're going to start with a nice tall seat, feet maybe hip width distance apart. You're going to float your hands overhead. You're going to think of softly rounding out in a cat-like stretch over a barrel. You're going to tap your fingers to the mat. You're going to slide your fingers forward, looking for the lower back. You're going to add the mid-back and the upper back as you float your arms up alongside your ears, and you're going to hold for 10, keeping that long spine stretch to the back. You are not pressed up against the wall at the moment, so you are free styling it. Tap back to the mat. Round out before you restack, before you realign. Back against that wall, you're going to float your hands overhead. You're going to think soft cat-like stretch over a barrel. You're going to start to disconnect your back line from the wall as you slide away. Give me a lift off. Hold that long spine stretch through the back and slowly tap your fingers 5 times to the mat and back, keeping that long stretch through the line of your spine. Intact, hollow out over your barrel before you restack, before you realign against the wall. Float your hands overhead. Round out into your soft cat-like stretch. Slide your fingers forward. Give me lift off. Hold that spine stretch. Begin with your arms, or rather your palms, squeezing into a soft basketball. Then open them up into T and squeeze back into the basketball. Last one. End with your arms in parallel, squeezing into that basketball. Tap to the mat. Then start to hollow out before you restack, before you realign. One last time. Then breath in, float your hands overhead. Round out into your cat. Begin to slide away from the wall. Give me a lift off, find that long spine stretch, and then float your arms into T. This will be your start line. Pretend that somebody's placing a whole walnut between your shoulder blades. You're going to pulse, crack that walnut. Drawing the shoulder blades closer and then back to neutral. Then bring your arms back into parallel. Tap them to the mat. hollow out before you restack, before you realign. Starting with your back line softly braced against the wall, you're going to extend the arms out in front and you're going to take 5 bum walks so that you've got a little bit of distance from the wall. You're going to rearrange your legs coming into a diamond seat, or if you prefer, you can come back into that cross-legged seat, but this time you've got no wall to support your back. So find your cross-legged seat or your diamond. You're going to give me a brace of your hands just softly behind the head. Think of just holding your hands, cupping the weight of your head. You're going to give me an L lean forwards and then back to neutral, keeping that long, almost spine stretch line through the back. Then start in a neutral long back line and think of rounding out into a cat stretch. And then undoing the contraction to sit up tall. You're going to give me 5, slow and controlled. Then come back to your neutral spine and change the flexion in the spine, this time thinking of looking up to the sky, slightly hollowing. You're going to get less flexion. You're going to shoot for 5 repeats. So you're thinking cow-like frame through the back. And if keeping the hands behind your head is too much, you can float them out in front and you can give me a slight lift of the arms as you think chin to sky with a slight hollowing of your back. Shoot for 5 repeats. Then relax your arms to your shins and give yourself a few soft circular releases through the shoulders. Maybe a few to the front and then a few to the back. Interlacing those hands softly behind your head again, we're going to work a soft side-to-side rotation through the trunk. Don't look for too much rotation. Keep it small, just off the center line, enough to just wake up those obliques. Last one. Come back to the middle and start to find an elbow dropping line side to side. Making one elbow heavy to the floor and reaching the other elbow for the sky. Keeping your back line as tall as you can without that brace into the wall. So now you need to use those belly muscles. All right, let's change the movement slightly. So this time you drop, you're going to rotate slightly towards your right knee and then retrace your path back. So it's a drop and a slight rotation forward. We're shooting for roughly 5 repeats. One more set, we'll take a breather and then we'll come back here and we'll add to this movement. Sit up nice and tall and drape your hands to your shins, working that little circular shrug release through the shoulders. A few to the front and a few to the back. Then hands tucked behind the head again. You're going to think gyroscope for the next movement. So we're going to drop the right elbow. We're going to start to rotate towards the right knee, and then we're going to use that right elbow to trace a small clockwise circle, and then we're going to drop left, and we're going to trace an anti-clockwise circle, and we're going to begin to move like a little gyroscope through the trunk, finding a drop and a circle pattern through the elbow. Hands loosely cupped or touching just maybe behind your head. Let's do one more. Come back to a tall seat, draping your hands on your shins, and look for that shrug release through the shoulders. A few to the front, a few to the back. Then extend the legs, this time into a narrower staff line, fingertips just in front of your shoulder line. You're going to bend and drag and extend right for 5. Switch legs. Maintaining your tall seat. Alternating pattern for 5. Then double up for 5. Last one. Float your arms out in front and bum walk back until your back line is flush against the wall and you're back in your brace position, tucking back into your original easy sit, this time left leg in front of right. Find that long back line, brace into the wall, abs engaged to set up your cactus frame. We're going to brace with our arms into the wall, and then we're going to squeeze the forearms and the palms together 10 times. We're going to end back in our cactus frame, and we're going to think of dropping the elbows, making a double U-like frame with the arms, and then sliding up into a V frame and beginning to alternate between the W and the V. Keep your back braced against the wall. We're going to find our way back into that cactus frame, and you're going to think scarecrow, dropping the arms and then bracing the back of your arms back into the wall. From your cactus frame, find your way into the T-arm press, and then squeeze the 2 palms together and play for 10. 3 more to go. Last one, you're going to end in that T-frame. You're going to drop down till your fingers touch the floor, and then you're going to angel wing back up, working the arm in big sweeping wing-like motions. Keeping that soft brace into your wall, abs engaged. One more sweep. We're going to end with those fingertips softly touching the floor. And you're going to rearrange your legs coming into a butterfly frame, tucking those heels nice and close to the perineum. We're going to push the knees down and away. Then you're going to ground the feet, start to squeeze the knees towards one another, but resist. And you can just bring your feet into a comfortable parallel line. Back to butterfly. Ground your feet. Squeeze the knees, resist. Comfortable parallel line between the 2 feet. Back to butterfly. Reground to squeeze and resist with the knees. Let's shoot for 2 more sets before we find our way into a diamond. Actually, no, we'll do our little staff spine stretch first. Alrighty, last set before we change. We're going to find our way into a nice tall staff seat, feet maybe hip-width distance apart. Beginning with a soft brace into the wall, you're going to float the arms overhead. You're going to think cat-like stretch over a barrel. Tap your fingers to the mat, start to disengage from the wall as you slide and lift. Find that spine stretch line and hold it. Feet softly braced. Then tap back out, hollow out before you restack, realign and brace gently against your wall. Keep those abs engaged. Float your hands overhead. Soft cat-like stretch. Slide away and up. Hold that long spine stretch and tap 5 times slowly to the mat and back. Hollow out, restack, realign, gently bracing against your wall. Float your hands overhead. Then soft cat-like stretch. Slide away and up. Lock that height in, squeezing into a basketball, and then opening up the arms into T 5 times, slow and controlled. End with your arms in parallel, tap to the mat, hollow out, before you restack, realign, gently bracing into your wall. Big breath in, float those hands overhead. Think soft cat-like stretch. Start to slide away and up. Lock that spine stretch in and open up your arms into T. Small pulsing walnut cracks for 10. Then bring your arms back to parallel. Tap out, hollow out before you restack, before you realign. We're going to take some bum walks to give ourselves some distance from the wall. Roughly 5 walks should do it. And then find your way either into a diamond frame or back into easy sit, left leg in front if you're using that option. We're going to loosely tuck the hands. Just think of cupping, holding, not interlacing the hands behind the head. And we're going to come to a gentle rotation through the trunk, keeping those elbows parallel to the floor. And you're shooting for 5 sets of controlled rotation through the trunk, keeping your spine as tall as you can. Last one. Find your way back to neutral. We're going to think cat stretch. And then back to neutral. So find that contraction, almost tipping the weight off your tailbone, and then undoing the contraction to lengthen the belly. 5, slow and controlled. Last one. Then think of moving in the opposite direction. Small flexion up to the sky. Trying to gently look for more of hollowness in the back. Shoot for 5 repeats. Last one. Relax your arms to your shins and work a shrugging shoulder circle to release. A few to the front and a few to the back. Alrighty, interlace those hands behind your head. We're going to do an elbow drop side to side for 5 sets. Then you're going to drop and rotate slightly towards your knee and then retrace your path back. Drop and a slight forward rotation to reverse. Shoot for 5 sets. Last set, then we'll work a little shrugging release before we find our little gyroscope movement. 5 to the front, 5 to the back. Then interlace those hands or tuck them loosely behind your head. You're going to give me an elbow drop. You're going to think forward circle and then repeat on the second side. So you start to move in a gyroscope-like fashion through the trunk. 2 more full sets to go. And sit up nice and tall. Release those shoulders. We're going to find our way into our tall start seat, extending the legs out in front, fingertips in front of the shoulder line. And we're going to find that little drag pattern, 5 on one side, keeping your tall seat, 5 on the second side. 5 alternating. And you're going to double up and you're going to do both together for 5. Then from here, we're going to sweep around to come onto the back. And you're going to have to readjust and find your correct distance from the wall. So we're going to think of trying to come into a bridge-like setup with our feet placed against the wall. So you're going to find a comfortable 90 behind your knees. Back line braced and supporting into the wall beneath you. And we're going to peel up into a modified bridge. So you're going to press into your feet and you're going to think of bringing your belly towards the sky. And you're going to hold for 10. Lead your way back down to the mat. You're going to keep your arms relaxed at your side. And you're going to extend the right leg with your big toe connected to the wall. You can come a little bit away from the wall if you like. We're going to come into a modified single leg stretch. From your neutral spine position, you're going to scoop and imprint, hugging your left knee in towards your nose, and then you're going to give me a switch and you're going to press or brace into the wall with your big toe. We're going to shoot for 10 full rounds. Let's call that 7. Find your way back to your bridge-like setup. This time, we are going to slide the legs into extension and we're going to try to come into an inverted plank. So we're going to press into our palms and our shoulders. We're going to pretend that somebody's threaded a little or hooked a little fish hook into our belly button and is pulling us up by the belly button, and we're going to find our way into an inverted plank, readjusting your legs if they're sticking into the wall. Try to find a long plank-like stretch from below your breastbone, through the line of the belly, through the line of the legs, pressing your shoulders and your arms into the mat and keeping your chin relaxed towards your chest. Then start to soften, maybe walking your way back down. Take a recovery breath or 2. We're going to find our way into a modified double leg stretch. Beginning in neutral pelvis and neutral spine, you're going to find your small 12 o'clock tilt and imprint. You're going to scoop up into a chest lip, drawing the knees in so that you're in a tight little ball. Then you're going to extend the legs and the arms, tapping your toes to the wall, and then tucking back 10 times. almost pressing away, pressing into and away from the wall with your big toes. Last one. Find your way back down to the mat for your bridge, placing your feet onto the wall, bracing softly into them, and then thinking belly up. Finding a modified bridge line, readjusting your feet as you need to. Try to keep the whole sole of your foot connected. So slide your foot up and down as you need to be able to keep the whole foot grounded and bracing gently into the wall. Then softly peel your way back down to the mat. Reconnect. Give yourself a breather. Arms are going to stay alongside the body, or you can tuck them palms down underneath your bottom. You're going to float both legs to the 90 position. You're going to tap your right toe to the wall and then switch. You're going to press into the wall and press away from it with your toe. Looking for almost a scissor-like or a flutter kick-like motion. You can keep head and shoulders on the mat, or you can add a small chest lift, pressing into your palms. Let's shoot for 5, 3, the last one. Find your way back to your bridge-like setup. We're going to walk our way up into an inverted plank. So start to peel belly to sky and then we'll walk the legs into extension, looking for that long stretch from your breastbone to your belly, through the tops of your thighs. Walk your way back down, reconnecting your back line to the mat. Arms at your side, palms down, or hands tucked underneath the bottom, palm down. You're going to float both legs to the 90 line, and you're going to give me a soft midline squeeze between the 2 feet. You're going to move them as one unit, tapping your toes to the wall, and then pulling back to 90. Almost pressing away from the wall, tapping into and pressing away. Last one. Find your way back into your bridge-like setup. You're going to peel up into your inverted bridge. You're going to keep the left leg bent and you're going to extend the right leg. Hold. Keeping as level as you can through the hips. Then bend right and extend left, keeping as level as you can through the hips. Then extend both legs and come into your inverted plank and hold. Bend your legs one at a time, walking your way back down. Reconnect. And then walk, slide, or creep your way closer to the wall. We're going to try to come right flush against the wall. So I'm just wiggle walking on my back, but you can get there as you see fit. You're going to extend the legs so that they're in a soft parallel line. And then you're going to bend one knee, hugging it in towards your chest, bracing into the foot of the other leg, and you're going to find a slide, switch, drag the pattern. Last set. Extend both legs. And then placing your hands softly on the outside of your thighs. You're going to begin by squeezing the two legs together. And then you're going to think of allowing them to V-slide open into a supported straddle line with your hands cupping gently around the outside of your thighs. Hold here. Come back to the middle. We're going to cup around the left, and this time we're going to wrap around from the inside and we're going to press away on the right. Then reverse. Hold on the inside of the left, support on the right. Bring your legs back to narrow and change. Pressing in on the outside, pressing out from the inside, and then changing. Come back. This time we're going to allow the legs to fall open. We're going to use the hands from the inside to see if we can press those inner thighs further away, looking for more stretch into the inner thighs. Then as you start to draw the legs closed, you can bring them either into a soft butterfly, diamond brace, knife edging, bracing with the sides of your feet, or you can tuck into a tighter butterfly, bracing with the edges of your feet and tucking the heels in closer to the perineum. This is where we're going to end off our practice today with our back braced into the mat, our feet softly bracing and pressing into the wall, and our knees nice and wide. When you're ready to come out, you can just gently roll over onto one side, finding your way into a seat and then a stand. Thank you so much for coming, embracing and playing with me today. I do hope that you enjoyed today's practice. Till next time, keep it light.